Joining me now is Maximillian Brichta from the University of Virginia. Max, so great to see you. Thanks for joining us on the program this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jeff.
This is amazing research, and I want to kind of drill down into this because I think there's a lot to unpack here, especially for those of us maybe a little older, and for those who work in the financial services industry. But let's at a very high level. It seems like younger generations aren't going to their mom and dad for financial advice. They're going to finfluencers and social media.
Yeah, so it's not that they aren't going to their parents for advice, but it's that there's more than 40% of people who are between the ages of 18 and 29 are going to social media and following or viewing finfluencers. It's just sort of easy now to open up your For You page on TikTok, and all of a sudden you're getting financial advice. Um, so it is the context that people are embedded within where this financial advice is starting to surface. It's starting to become more entertaining. It's starting to become a lot more accessible, and it's starting to become a lot more relatable to people.
And that's a good thing because the big thing, and I know you probably timed the research around Financial Literacy Month, which is the month of April. It's a good thing that more people are involved. I would think that the more people are involved in learning about credit cards and life insurance and saving for retirement, that's a good thing, right, Max?
I think so. What you got to understand is there's a deficit of financial education. There's an effort to push legislation so that there are more required courses, not just a couple weeks in the middle of like an econ course in high school, but a full semester worth of personal finance at high schools right now. And that's just starting to take off. I think it's about 27 states have some legislation passed and they are already integrating it, or over the next 5 years will be integrating it. But there really is a lack of financial education in the US. And so I think this is one way, so long as you're following the right people and you're not getting pulled astray into get rich quick schemes
Yeah.
and other sketchy stuff, that this really could fill some of the gaps in the education in the US.
If we could we talk about that? Is there a way currently on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and all the other platforms? Is there a way to discern? How do you discern between what's good advice or bad advice? I would imagine that if it says buy cryptocurrency and go to an online casino, that would probably set off some bells and whistles. But how do you discern between what's good and what is bad advice? Or can you?
I think there's a couple of ways that you could, a few things to look out for. First thing is to look to see if it is paid content, if this is a sponsorship. I'm suspicious of even, some of these are, let's say, good uses of a credit card, and they might be tailored to your specific financial situation. But these are people getting paid thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars per month to promote this specific product. And I would be a little bit wary about that, especially because it really might not be tailored to your specific financial situation. When this is a person who is making, 6+ figures a year now, and a lot of it coming from their content creation. Um,
Yeah.
there,
Go ahead.
yeah,
I'm sorry. Finish your thought.
I think when you see any promises, that raises a red flag for me too. Anything that jumps out at you as trying to get you to purchase a course or pay for a master class or something from some of these influencers. Not to say that these courses are going to be bad or that they're going to lead you in the wrong direction, but you have to be careful about the monetization schemes and think about how are these monetization schemes putting pressures on them to create the specific type of material, to say these particular things to me, and to make me reliant or dependent on them. I think once it gets into the realm of dependence, then we're looking for trouble.
Yeah, I apologize for interrupting you. That was not my intent.
Totally
And I'm
fine.
glad you're able to finish your thought. Are there some lessons here? I come from the financial services and retirement pardon me, industries, are there, social media is not going away. I mean, it's not like we're not going to turn unless the world ends and there's a EMP pulse, right? That's social media is going to be here. So are there lessons for financial advisors, financial services organizations, technology organizations about this? I mean, what can they take away from your report, but what can they take away from some of these influencers?
I think the first big takeaway is that we have to recognize that this is going on. There are influencers with millions of followers, and getting tons of engagement every day. And I think the impulse right now from a lot of the conversations that I'm having with folks in traditional financial posts and who are interested in personal finance education feel like it is just noise and that it is all something to either tune out or to tell people to not pay attention to. And I think that's a little bit shallow in terms of what is actually out there. These are, um, people are getting fed this material. And so the question is what to do with that.
And also to that, I mean, ours is a very highly regulated industry. Are there lessons here for local, federal, state governments that oversee some of these platforms, but some of the financial instruments that are being promoted? And likewise, are there lessons here for the technology, social media platforms about what is being promoted? I feel like it's kind of a Wild West in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one line that kind of absolves people of their responsibility is this is not financial advice.
Yeah.
Don't take any of this as financial advice, and then the next 2 minutes is just pure financial advice. And so it's up to the platforms, frankly, to figure out how to moderate this stuff, how to figure out what is financial advice, how to figure out what is like things that typical chartered financial advisors have to go through school and do thousands of hours of practice to actually have the credential to give this give this advice to very specific people in very specific situations. And it's just not set up for that at the moment. So it really does come down to how do you limit this speech in a way. And so it gets a little tricky there.
Yeah, I think it's part of the broader conversation. I mean, I think you have to, I want to get your feedback on this, but you have to be able to have the rationalization as an individual to know what seems sketchy
Sure.
and versus right. I mean, and you brought up that, hey, this is not financial advice. I would argue that in the retirement industry and the financial services industry, we always say past performance is not indicative of future results, right? So we kind of, while we're pitching, products and services. So I think it kind of probably cuts both ways. But this is kind of the new frontier, right, Max? I mean, this is not, you can't put your head in the sand. It's not going away.
No, it's not going away. I think what you're really putting your finger on is that this social media and financial advice they're bound up and you cannot separate them. And this is kind of a media literacy question now of like what advice is going to be accurate and what advice is going to be valuable for you. And it's not so simple to be able to wade through it and tell from one influencer to the next who's got your best interest in mind. One of the fascinating things now is that the personal finance education is getting more personal. There's an emphasis on the personal element of people that are guiding you through their lives. And, they are in their early 20s some of the time, and they are just figuring it out on their own. And they're documenting this process. And some of them are more or less transparent about the mistakes that they make
Yeah.
and the emotions that they're feeling and the troubles that they get into in, unfolding their financial path. And so you're kind of watching it like a reality TV show of how these different people in different situations are managing their personal financial lives. So it does get bound up with entertainment, but I think there is something in there that is refreshing and that is breaking down some of the taboos about talking about money. It's really bringing it into the realm of the mundane. And there are people out there who are, frankly, really relatable, and they're going to have similar identity features of you and similar socioeconomic statuses as you. And so there's a lot out there that could actually be really great to tune into. Um,
Well, it's
but
always about, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
but at the same time, these are monetization trajectories, and each one of them is looking to, for the most part, end up making some money off of this, and perhaps even make this their primary source of income.
Yeah, I mean, I think authenticity is certainly important as long as they don't, are not throwing plates like they do on reality TV, or, we don't have the version of the Jersey Shore. They could call it the financial shore. I don't know. Max, we're going to have to leave it there. Great to see you. Great research. And look, we look forward to having you back on the program again very soon.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for watching. And don't forget, we're back again tomorrow morning with another great expert and another great topic. You can tune in right here Monday through Sunday at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And don't forget to subscribe to our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse, for all the news in one place, delivered directly to your email box. Check it out at our website.